10:30 back on the Sports Fix. You're listening to North Central Florida sports leader ESPN Radio and ESPNGo1.com. You got a smartphone, we got an app for you. It's the ESPN Go 1 radio app. It's a free download to you on our website. You find the link, you click it, you download it. You can listen to the Sports Fix wherever it is that you may go. As we do each and every Thursday here on the show, we talk a little Miami Hurricane sports. We're so used to talking Miami Hurricane football, but Miami Hurricane basketball front and center. And when we talk Miami Hurricane sports, we talk to our good friend Danny Money of CanesInSight.com. Danny, good morning. How you doing, my friend?
Tremendous. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Speaking of tremendous weekend for Miami basketball. ACC, they clinched the regular season championship. Jim Larrañaga named Coach of the Year. All that real positive vibe, that positive energy. And then you sort of sit around and wait for the Player of the Year, and that goes to, I believe, Eric Green out of Virginia Tech. Shane Larkin, does he have the right to really kind of feel screwed in this deal?
Well, honestly, Virginia Tech didn't have a ton of team success this year, but Eric Green's a good player. This is, of all the slights against UM in the past, 6 months, I think this one ranks pretty low. Shane Larkin has gotten a ton of hype this year, partly because of who his father is, and mostly because of his play and the success of the team. He's the one on ESPN. He's the one with his face front and center. So I'm sure he's a little upset, but I don't think it's too much to get upset about. Me personally, I was happy to see Durant Scott be named Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC. He's put in a great 4 years here, came in with a lot of hype, lived up to it, really competed well on both ends, as you saw by him being named the Defensive Player of the Year, also a very good scorer and distributor. So I was happy personally to see Durant Scott get that recognition as a senior and someone who's really paid a lot of dues. And Shane Larkin will be in the running for Player of the Year next year, at least preseason. So I'm not too worried about that.
It's kind of ironic. You think about Miami joining the ACC, and to think that they won a basketball championship before they won a football championship is a highly ironic scenario. And then you throw in the fact that this was a program that wasn't even in existence prior to '85. They took that long break where they weren't even fielding a basketball team. Talk a little bit about Miami's kind of path from the rebirth of that program in '85 to where they are today, where they are the ACC champions, which is kind of amazing to hear.
Well, they've always been kind of getting close to that hump and never being able to get over it. Leonard Hamilton had this team humming during his tenure towards the end. They were really good defensive teams, and they had a couple big wins. Big win against UConn. They were a pretty tough team, and they were going up. But Michael Jordan noticed that the team was on the ascent, and that Leonard Hamilton was spearheading that, hired him to be the head coach of the Washington Wizards. He ended up at FSU and really put a jolt into that program. So that was the first time that Miami really kind of almost got there, but something happened that caused them to fall off. Then there was the issue of the on-campus arena, which was really a big factor in recruiting. It's a big difference going from somewhere like Cameron Indoor to the old Miami Arena downtown, really much different feel. So that push for the on-campus arena was kind of the story of the next era of Miami basketball. It finally got done, beautiful facility, and as Jim Larrañaga came in and really looked like the program was ready to head to the next level with the new coach and the new facility, the Dennis Shapiro scandal hit. So that kind of clouded things for a little bit. But now with the success of this team and the fact that it looks like the basketball team at least should avoid too much severe sanctions, if any sanctions at all, now you really start looking to the future and start looking at the pieces that are in place, both from a coaching perspective, from a facility perspective, and from a national exposure perspective. And things finally are looking bright for the future. We might have finally gone over the hump, not to be a national power, just because I don't think there's enough local talent there for that to happen, but to be someone that's relevant.
Danny, we talked a lot about Coach Larrañaga and the great season he had, ACC Coach of the Year. He's in his early 60s, but he's a vibrant guy. He's a guy that but he kind of acts like he's 40. He has the right mentality for these kids, and for some reason it really works for him. What are the boosters and the people there in the top wigs at University of Miami? What are they doing? Have they already got him locked up, or are they going to do something to better his contract or maybe extend his contract?
Well, Miami is a place where, or at least South Florida is a place where a lot of people come to retire in their older age. So I think between between Jim Larrañaga and his wife, I know likes it here quite a bit. She was a little skittish of him taking the job at first just because no one's really been able to get Miami over the hump in basketball. But now that they've seen the success they have here, they see the way the student body has responded to their success. They see the on-campus arena. Everything's kind of in place. I think I haven't heard anything really concrete on this, but I can't imagine that the powers that be at the University of Miami will let Jim Larrañaga go, and he's at a point in his career where he's not looking for the next job. I think he wants to be comfortable in a place that he can win, and certainly all the ingredients are here in Miami to at least compete. So I think that now that the Shapiro scandal's kind of lessened in terms of the basketball team, I think Jim Larrañaga is here to stay, and he has a great staff under him. So if he wanted to possibly groom his successor, there are plenty of great candidates on his current staff to do so.
Danny Money, CanesInsight.com, our guest here on the Sports Fix. And Danny, when a team doesn't have a whole lot of success in a certain sport, namely basketball, and they get to the NCAA tournament, it's almost like the fan base is just happy to be there. And, hey, a Sweet 16 run would be unbelievable, and we'll be really excited about that. If Miami is a 2 seed in one of the brackets, I mean, is this the kind of team, and is the fan base that dialed into the basketball program where they'll sort of hold them to that seed? It's a sort of Elite Eight or bust, or is a Sweet 16 run good enough for the fans that, just really haven't enjoyed that much basketball success in the past?
Well, it's been a great ride just to get to this point. A lot of exhilarating wins, a lot of great home wins, a lot of great home crowds, a lot of things that this program has not experienced, that this student body has not experienced. I really think that college basketball, even more so than college football, at least here in Miami, it's different. When you go to a Miami basketball game, the Miami students really dominate that environment. Whereas if you go to a Miami football game, even one that's a sellout, you're going to have just people from the city that have always supported the Canes, and then you have a little, the student section here and there, but it's not going to be overwhelming. So I think the student body has really gotten a great feeling from this team and has really enjoyed the ride. And I think, obviously they want to go as far as they can in the tournament, but I really think there's a lot of appreciation for what Larrañaga has done, for the way the team has competed, for the entertainment value they provide. I mean, they've been a really exciting team at times. They threw an off-the-backboard alley-oop that the Miami Heat copied the next week and actually gave credit to the Miami Hurricanes. So, I mean, imagine that happening 5 years ago. So I really think they've enjoyed the ride. And while obviously they want to go as far as they can, they're happy with how things have turned out.
Miami wins the regular season ACC championship, now has a chance to win a tournament ACC championship. Talk a little bit about the bracket. Obviously, they are not playing until Friday. They'll draw the winner of Georgia Tech and Boston College. Georgia Tech, a team that beat them just over a week ago, I guess. Is this a favorable draw for the Hurricanes, and do you see them making a run deep into the tournament?
What a favorable draw is they won't be facing Duke or North Carolina hypothetically until the final. But really, any team can beat them. It's funny. It's kind of similar to what the Miami Heat have been doing during their streak in the NBA, where the lesser teams have really given them quite a bit of a problem. They've had to eke out a couple close wins, or in the case of the Miami Hurricanes, have lost to a couple lesser teams. So, theoretically, it's a pretty good draw, but it just comes down to that day. Any of these teams can beat them, and Miami certainly can beat any of them. So, with the way the ACC is this year, I don't think it really matters much. Obviously, though, the headline is that they're not going to have to play Duke or North Carolina, theoretically, until that championship game.
Danny, back to this team, and you talked about the students and how they've really jumped on board, and that's only natural. But you think of the alumni base and how they're probably excited about it and probably willing to put some more money to it. But there's a new thing in all of college sports. It's called boosters, and that's a big part of it. And there's a lot of powerful people in Miami. Have enough of those types of people jumped on board with this thing? You think of apparel. I know there's the ACC champion T-shirts out and the jackets and the hats and things like that. Miami, back in their heyday in football, had a great push in that area. And throughout the nation, people started jumping on the bandwagon of Miami football. Not to say they're doing that now, but in the basketball world, is this taking place? Do you feel a difference down in Miami now that they are the ACC regular season champions and could grow this thing even bigger this year? I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. Do you feel that in Miami right now, the increase in support and, for this team?
Well, on to your first point about the boosters, it's actually pretty interesting. A lot of people outside of Miami don't realize this because they've seen, the highly publicized scandal, first the Pell Grant scandal in the mid-'90s, the Nevin Shapiro scandal now, Luther Campbell, all these kind of high-profile boosters, and I put quotations on that because they're a little outside the official lines. But really, Miami does not have a very strong booster base. It's a small private school. A lot of its alumni are scattered across the United States, which makes it different than, for example, a school like University of Georgia or Alabama or University of Florida, where you have a very successful alums living not too far away from where they went to school. And being a very big school, a lot of those type of people. So that's always put Miami in somewhat of a disadvantage. The problems with the facilities are well publicized. So Miami really has never had that great booster base. The boosters they do have and the supporters they do have are certainly really excited by this basketball team. You see a bigger presence at the games of that kind of crowd. But that's never going to be where Miami really makes its mark. As you said, Miami, where they really kind of got their popularity and their support was just from being a national brand. And people who never even went to Miami, both inside the city of Miami and across the United States, really supported the football team. I don't see the basketball team ever getting to that point, but I do see the basketball team becoming kind of a local fixture just because of that on-campus arena. It's just so easy to get to for so many people. It's really a nice facility. It fills up because it's a smaller arena. So I think where Miami basketball is going to get its niche is kind of just a nice, affordable, local ticket. You're going to see great ACC basketball, and you get to know the players a little bit. You're not going to get the one-and-dones. I think that's sort of the blueprint, just a hardworking, exciting, aggressive, Jim Larinaga coach team right there in the heart of Coral Gables that you can go to and not have to spend a ton of cash.
Danny Money, CanesInsight.com, the best in the business talking Miami Hurricane sports. Hey, we went a whole segment without even talking football. We'll get into some football coming up with you next week. Danny Money, CanesInsight.com. As always, Danny, appreciate your time and knowledge, my friend. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care, guys.
Appreciate it. Again, Danny Money. Check him out online, CanesInsight.com. Coming up on the other side of the break, we'll talk Florida State basketball, maybe some Florida State football as well. Ira Schofel, the Tallahassee Democrat, will be our guest. You're listening to the Sports Fix on ESPN Radio. Find us online at ESPNGo1.com. Come visit Doc Hall's